Welcome to this explainer. Okay, let's dive right into the fascinating architecture of intention to see exactly how we build meaning in English. You know, when we communicate, we are essentially acting as architects. We're structuring our thoughts into physical sentences that others can just walk right through and understand. So today, we're going to examine the advanced C2 level distinction between simply having a purpose and constructing a fully fledged grammatical purpose clause.
Here is our blueprint for constructing intention today. We'll be covering 1. The meaning of purpose. 2. Building with simple phrases. 3. Engineering the purpose clause. 4. The conjunction toolkit. And finally, 5. Phrase versus clause.
Let's start our tour right at the foundation. Section 1. The meaning of purpose, or defining the goal behind the action.
At the heart of every sentence's design, we really have to ask ourselves this fundamental question to understand a speaker's true intent. Why do we do what we do? Because whenever you describe an action, the listener's brain naturally starts hunting for the reason behind it. Without a clearly defined intention, the actions in a sentence can just feel totally random or unmoored.
Simply put, purpose refers to the goal, the aim, the intention, or the reason behind an action. It answers those big questions like why or for what purpose. And it's really important to realize right from the start that purpose is purely a semantic idea. It represents the architect's vision in your mind, well before you ever lay down a single brick of actual grammar.
And this brilliantly illustrates that intention is a highly versatile concept. You can express purpose through a noun phrase, an infinitive phrase, a prepositional phrase, or even an adverb clause. It absolutely does not require a complex clause to exist. For example, if you say, her purpose was education, you've successfully communicated intention using just a simple noun.
Moving right along to Section 2, Building with Simple Phrases. Let's see how we construct meaning without using clauses.
You can actually establish intention super easily using a simple noun phrase. Take the sentence, their purpose was economic development. Here, the concept is stated so plainly, without any heavy moving parts. It's direct, it's clean, and it perfectly answers that why question without needing to introduce any new subjects or active verbs into the mix.
Similarly, infinitive phrases act like basic, lightweight building blocks to convey intention cleanly and efficiently. She studies to become a doctor, or maybe they left early to avoid traffic. These structures do the job beautifully. They're what we call purpose phrases because they lock right onto the main action and give us the exact goal in just a few words.
So, the crucial point to remember here is that phrases are simpler materials precisely because they lack a subject and a finite verb. You know, a verb that shows tense. This makes them very different from their complex clause counterparts. Think about a prepositional phrase like, she went to the store for milk. It simply points to the goal. There's no new actor performing a new action. It's a highly efficient way to build, but sometimes, well, you just need a larger structure to capture a more complex intention.
All right, time to upgrade our grammatical construction site and look at the heavy machinery. Section 3. Engineering the purpose clause.
Think of a purpose clause as a total structural powerhouse. It's a dependent or subordinate adverb clause that specifically dictates the intended result or objective of the main action. It modifies the verb in the main clause, explicitly answering why, for what purpose, or with what intention. And unlike those simple phrases we just looked at, this clause packs its very own subject and finite verb.
Now, what's really interesting is our step-by-step blueprint formula for engineering a purpose clause, perfectly stacking all the moving parts together. You start with step 1, your main clause, which is the core action. Then, step 2, you drop in a subordinating conjunction. This acts as the hinge. Step 3, you introduce a brand new subject. And finally, step 4, you add a finite verb. So it looks like this. She whispered, that's the main clause, so that, conjunction, nobody, subject, could hear her, verb.
Because these clauses are forward-looking structures, expressing a planned result or a desired outcome, they heavily rely on modal verbs to project an anticipated consequence. You're going to frequently see words like can, could, may, might, will, would, and should doing a lot of the heavy lifting here. Like, he saved money so that he could buy a house. That modal verb could builds the bridge straight to that future expected consequence.
So how do we attach these pieces? Section 4, the conjunction toolkit. These are the fasteners holding it all together. Let's open up that toolkit and look at how conjunctions range in both formality and function. So that is going to be your everyday, incredibly versatile fastener. Study hard so that you can pass.
Then we have in order that, which is a much more formal tool. He explained everything in order that everyone might understand. We even have in case, which actually functions as a purpose clause when you use it as a precaution, like take an umbrella in case it rains.
And then, well, we have the dramatic, slightly paranoid cousins of the toolkit family, like lest and for fear that. These are highly formal, very literary conjunctions designed strictly to prevent danger or negative outcomes. Walk quietly, lest you wake the baby. Or, they whispered for fear that someone might hear them. You really only pull these out of your toolkit when you need to construct a sentence with a very specific, cautious tone.
Let's move on to our final architectural inspection, Section 5, Phrase versus Clause.
When we put these head-to-head, a quick side-by-side reveals the ultimate truth. Purpose is a broad semantic concept, whereas a purpose clause is a highly specific engineered grammatical structure. As a general concept, purpose doesn't strictly require a subject and a verb at all. You can use various structures like to, for, or for plus an ing verb. But a purpose clause, that absolutely demands a subject, a finite verb, and a specific subordinating conjunction to hold it together.
Notice how the simple phrase is concise and punchy. She studies to pass the exam. It uses an infinitive to hit the point fast. But when we upgrade that exact same idea to a clause, it brings in its own subject and finite verb to carry the weight. She studies so that she can pass the exam. It's just more detailed, mapping out exactly who is performing the anticipated outcome.
This brilliantly illustrates how you can build the exact same intention using either simple, lightweight materials or detailed, complex machinery. They left early to catch the train versus they left early so that they could catch the train. As the architect of your own sentences, you get to choose which structure best suits the rhythm and the level of detail required by your specific context.
The absolute most essential takeaway from this explainer is this golden rule right here. Every purpose clause expresses purpose, but not every expression of purpose is a purpose clause. You really have to recognize the difference between the abstract semantic idea floating around in your mind and the physical grammatical structures you pull from your toolkit to actually build it for the world to see.
Language gives us an incredible array of materials. We have everything from simple noun phrases all the way up to the complex machinery of dependent adverb clauses, complete with subordinating conjunctions and modal verbs. So as you go out and construct your sentences today, ask yourself this. You know your purpose, for sure, but do you know exactly how to build it? Choose your tools wisely.